Hey everyone, I'm Rob Veltman, and today I'm going to look at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu rules and etiquette. What you should do at a new club, what you shouldn't do, and what may be fine at some clubs but unacceptable at others. Stick around to find out more. You're walking into a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu club for your first time, whether you're starting on your BJJ journey or going to a new club. Making a first impression will make your life so much easier. The first thing to keep in mind is that nobody gets upset with somebody that's too polite. And the second thing to keep in mind is ask questions. When you first meet the gym owner, program director, or instructor, ask them how they would like to be addressed and how you should address the other instructors. Each academy will be different, some more formal and will want you to call the instructors professor or coach, while others are okay with you calling the instructors by their first name. I trained with instructors that were very relaxed about what they were called. However, I still addressed them with the appropriate honorific whenever we were in the dojo. Those that I'm close with outside of training, I will call by their name, but inside the training area, it will always be professor, sensei, or coach. Shower. Before you enter any club, you should make sure you've taken care of a few basic things first. First and foremost, shower before you arrive. It doesn't have to be immediately before arriving at class, but make sure you are clean and free of any offensive odors. No one wants to train with the smelly guy. First off, it's unpleasant to have to smell someone else's stench while you're training. Secondly, if you come in dirty and unkempt, you are bringing all kinds of bacteria onto the mats, which your training partners won't appreciate. This will increase the chances of skin infections, not only for you, but your partners as well. Be a good partner and be clean coming into practice. I have actually refused to roll with some people who came to class smelling awful and told others that they need to take a shower before they come to the next class or they won't be allowed to practice. What gis are acceptable? Ask what kind of gis are acceptable to wear at this club. This can vary widely from club to club. You will find some academies that are very traditional and will only allow white gis to be worn. Others will allow white and blue only. Still others will allow blue, pink, purple, yellow, red, camouflage, and everything in between. On a side note, a red gi and a black belt as you get older can make you look like this. Just saying. There are even some clubs that will require you to wear their branded gis only. Always check in to see what gis the club allows. It can be a bit awkward walking under the mats being the only one wearing a colored gi while everyone else is wearing white and staring at you like you're disrespecting their dojo and its traditions. Wear a gi in good repair. Make sure your gi is in good condition. Gis wear out over time and it's sad to see a favorite one go. When they start to get worn out and get holes in them, this creates a danger for your training partners. Fingers and toes can get caught in those holes and twisted and bent. Either patch up those holes somehow or go out and replace that gi. Learn to tie your belt. The simple matter of learning how to tie your belt properly makes you look like you care about the art and its traditions. Check out my short video here where I demonstrate how to do it. Wash your gi. Just like keeping yourself clean, keeping your gi clean is vitally important. A dirty gi can be a nesting ground for bacteria and germs. This can be escalated greatly if you finish a practice, throw your gi in a gym bag, and let it sit there until your next practice. Take your gis home and wash them in between practices. If you're training a lot, you may want to purchase several gis to make sure you always have a clean one. Who am I kidding? If you're training a lot, you probably have a ton of gis already. Another one? Wash your belt. There is a wild superstition in the martial arts world that you should not wash your belt because by doing so, you're adding wear and tear on it that you didn't earn. A lot of this stems from folklore. There is a story that once you earn a black belt, as you train harder and longer, the belt through wear and tear will start to become white again. Once this happens, you will come full circle and become a master. Getting there? Well, you would think someone smart enough to become a master would realize that 30 years of blood, sweat, and grime on a belt would lead to a filthy germ and bacteria farm. Trim your fingernails. This is an easy one to forget, and I'm sure most people have let their nails grow a little too long once or twice before practicing. That accidental scratch you gave your training partner is not only unpleasant, it opens up the possibilities of getting other people's sweat and bacteria into the abrasion and creating a staph or other skin infection. At our club, we have several sets of nail clippers readily available so that everyone can trim their nails before class. This is one of those things that will only get noticed when you don't do it. Nobody is likely to say, "Wow, thanks for keeping your nails trim. I didn't get scratched today." They will definitely notice it when you do end up scratching them if your nails are too long, however. Bring a pair of flip-flops. Bring a pair of flip-flops, sandals, or zori with you to wear to and from the change room as well as to and from the bathroom. Remember, you will be training on the club's mats and it's everyone's job to keep those mats clean. It will vary from club to club whose job it is to clean the mats. At some clubs, this will be done by the owner and or staff in between classes. At others, it will be a group effort after class is finished. If you're at a club where it is a group effort, make sure to jump in and help out after class. After all, it's your face that's going to be down on the mats. Wearing flip-flops to and from the mats will cut down on the germs and bacteria that you will bring onto the mats. Walking in bare feet on floors where who knows what's been tracked in from outside, or worse yet, into the washroom where you know what's been on the floor. Keep in mind, most clubs will have kids whose accuracy at hitting the bowl can be questionable at best. Is only going to add to those germs and bacteria. Wearing flip-flops will decrease your chances of getting sick and or developing some nasty skin infections. When walking onto the mats, bow. This is not a requirement at all academies, but yet again, nobody is going to get annoyed with someone that is too polite. I've been to clubs where bowing on the mats is mandatory and to others where it is not required. At the clubs where bowing is mandatory, I fit right in with everyone else, while at the clubs where it was not necessary, nobody says anything. Shake everyone's hand. When walking onto the mats, take the time to go around and shake everyone's hand. It's a good chance to introduce yourself to those you will be training with or to say hi to those that you already know. Doing this builds camaraderie, trust, and friendship and will make your training experience much more enjoyable. Where to line up. Now you're ready to start class. Ask where you should line up. This is another thing that will vary from club to club. In general, you will line up with the others that are the same rank as you. This isn't always the case, however. I remember going to a seminar at one club, and as a black belt, I was asked to line up with the color belts because I was not a member of their affiliation. The big thing to remember is their club, their rules. Above all else, respect your partner and keep them safe. Your job as a training partner is to protect your partner and keep them safe. If you are more experienced or bigger than your partner, make sure that you are not injuring them when you practice. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu requires partners to train with. Nobody wants to train with a person that has a reputation for injuring their partners. If you break your toys, you can't play with them tomorrow. Before rolling, ask what the rules are at the club. Every club will have a set of rules that they roll by. Some clubs will stick to the IBJJF rules. Some will play by ADC rules or other event rules. And some will have their own set of things that they will allow based on the head instructor's feelings about different techniques. It's important to know which set of rules you should be following while training. Heel hooking or neck cranking your training partners when it's not something that is allowed at that gym is not going to make you any friends quickly. Be on time for class. Being on time for anything shows that you respect and value the time of the person that you're meeting with. The same goes with your instructor. By being on time, you are showing that you respect and value their efforts in teaching you. If you show up at every class after the warm-ups because you don't think they're of any value, you're essentially saying to your instructor that you don't value their time and you are also cheating yourself. Most times, warm-ups include drills that will improve your muscle memory, which will help you get better at the techniques being practiced. Sometimes things happen. Life gets in the way, you get caught up in traffic jam, had to work late, etc. Most people will understand this as long as you don't make it a habit. If you are late for class, don't just jump in and join. This could sometimes disrupt plans that the instructor already has people working on. Instead, bow in and kneel down at the edge of the mats and wait for the instructor to ask you in when they're ready to integrate you into the class. At my club, I do have an exception to this rule, as long as I know ahead of time. Some people ask me if it's okay if they arrive late sometimes because they work late or have other engagements which they're unable to get out of in order to allow them to get to class on time. My view is that I would rather have those people come in late than not train at all. I know ahead of time these people can't make it on time, but they are trying their best. Higher belts have the right of way. This is a common rule at most clubs. When you're rolling and you and your partner are getting close to banging into another pair, it is incumbent upon the lower belts to move out of the way of the senior belts. This is a sign of respect for the advanced belts and the time they've put into training. White belts should make way for blue belts, blue for purple, purple for brown, and brown for black. This is Dick. Dick has his own brand of jiu-jitsu. These are known as Dick moves. The elbow dig. The face grind. The slam. The finger grab.
Don't be a dick.
Asking higher belts to roll. This one will vary widely from academy to academy. Once again, it's best to ask ahead of time what the rules are at the club you're training at. Keep in mind as well that a white belt being dominated by a blue, purple, or brown belt won't feel much different than being dominated by a black belt, whereas a brown belt could greatly benefit from rolling with that same black belt. At some clubs, asking a higher belt to roll is considered disrespectful and looked at as you challenging the higher belt. This could lead to an extremely long and painful round for you. At other clubs, this is completely acceptable. If asking higher belts to roll is fine at the club you are at, keep in mind that they may say no. Remember that they are there to train too and will sometimes want to roll with other higher belts to advance their game. Or sometimes they may have injuries and are not feeling up to rolling with a lower belt that has not learned to control their movements or their intensity. Some higher belts don't wish to roll with lower belts because they feel there is nothing in it for them. This, however, couldn't be further from the truth. I never learned as much as when I started teaching. Helping others is a great way to improve your game. Aside from that, if you look at jiu-jitsu from a self-defense perspective, the person that you will be defending yourself against on the street will behave the same way a white belt does, which is often unpredictable compared to those that have trained before. Therefore, I think it's important for everyone to occasionally roll with white belts to remind themselves that white belts do stupid stuff. Asking for a belt promotion. When am I going to get my purple belt? You might think you're ready for your next belt promotion. I've been there myself. You might be thinking, what else do I have to do to get promoted? I roll with other people that are a higher belt with me, and I not only hold my own, I tap them occasionally. Does my instructor just not like me? You trust your instructor to teach you and guide your path. In fact, you trust them so much that you're paying them to do so. If you trust your instructor, then trust them to know when you are ready for your next belt. There may be something they want to see from you yet that you haven't shown them. Maybe you've got a fantastic guard and a great top game, but sometimes struggle when you're in a bad position. Maybe your techniques need just a tad more refining. Whatever it is, your instructor knows. So ask them. The important thing is how you phrase it. What do you think I need to work on, Professor? Demonstrates that you're eager to learn and get better. It's also a respectful way of phrasing your question, as opposed to, when am I going to get my purple belt? Which comes across as, I feel I know better than you when I should be promoted. There you have it, BJJ rules and etiquette. Can you think of anything I missed? If so, leave them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, please smash that subscribe button below, like, share, and leave a comment. I'll see you all in the next video.